Folks, have you inadvertently handcuffed yourself to your job? Have you made daily decisions that mean you have to go to work? Are you at a position where freedom is not even a thought? Lots of people have inadvertently handcuffed themselves to their jobs. And I want to be very clear. I did that for a decade. I made more money. I spent more money. I just need you to realize you don't have to do that. And frankly, your job, your W-2 can be the key to financial freedom. But if you're too stupid to pick up the key, you will be handcuffed for a long time. This is a topic that Dion is passionate about. We'll throw it to him first. What do you got, big guy?
So I was in the process of writing a book for us to publish together, which thank you for that. It's very frustrating, not easy. Not
Welcome to my world.
I'm the lazy investor, not the good writer. But there are people who learn from reading and not listening or watching. So I want to get that out there. And one of the sections in a chapter is don't let healthcare be the handcuffs. And it really got me thinking of, well, how many things handcuff us to our job? How many excuses do we hear from people who could retire? How many, how many people are stuck in one more year? And so I'll start with the one that made me think of the subject is people handcuff themselves to their job with healthcare all the time. They think I need a job because I need healthcare, and they don't get healthcare from their job. What they get is an insurance premium paid by an employer with part of their compensation package. Yeah. So they would be making more money hourly if the company didn't have an insurance policy. The company has X amount of dollars to pay. Some gets taken away for retirement account. Some gets taken away for healthcare, right? So it's their own money. The boss isn't going to pay for expenses above what healthcare covers. The boss isn't going to cover your deductible. I mean, there are some companies that have a nice policy and they say, we've got a over coverage and we cover your deductible. So it's possible. I've never met the people who work at those, and I've never worked at a company that did that. And so I break it down to that an asset for every expense, right? I've got the travel duplex, the healthcare triplex, the vodka fourplex, the vehicle duplex. And since that duplex pays the healthcare premium, sets aside money for the deductible, and builds the cash flow that lets me handle some catastrophic health event in the future, I was able to walk away from a job that had health care insurance premium coverage. So I wasn't
it's funny. It's funny you bring this up. I remember when I first left my employer in 2018 and I started this YouTube channel. I got to tell you, there was a while where it seemed like almost every other comment was, what did you do with insurance? How'd you do insurance? What did you do? And I'm like, do you guys not know that you can go get an individual policy? I mean, is that just like foreign concept? So I did a whole thing, at the time I went to Kaiser and got a platinum policy, and I got a platinum policy for Olivia and I think the first rate was like, I don't know, call it $750 a month, whatever, something like that. And it's like, guys, that's one of my duplexes. It pays that. And again, if I wanted, I could have gotten bronze coverage for probably like $350. But again, the duplex paid the thing, to your point. And it was really odd to me. I mean, the amount of people that said, what did you do about insurance? I'm like, I was shocked by that.
Can I throw out just a small hack here?
Sure.
If you go to your state's healthcare program that's based on income, and you make your bulk of your money through real estate, and you have write-offs and depreciation and your income is zero, guess what you qualify for?
Yeah, no, you can absolutely do that. Actually, Olivia and I, because again, we file taxes some years, not jointly. She has done that on occasion. I unfortunately made a shit ton of money flipping real estate, so that didn't help me. But yeah, it happens. It happens.
Darn that money.
Darn that money. Darn that money. Matt, this is an interesting one because again, sometimes life event happens, and you frankly had to stay employed an extra year or so just because of some family stuff, right?
Yep. Yeah, 2 years with Eliana's cancer. I mean, basically, she's the couple $1 million baby, with all the healthcare that she needed. But, the world's changed a lot too with healthcare. And so one of the biggest challenges is family plans. Yeah. And I can tell you, we're on a decent plan, not a spectacular plan, but we're on a decent plan. And it's $3,100 a month.
Yeah, you got
like, out of pocket.
lot of bodies. Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of bodies.
exactly, 6. But largely they treat family plans like family plans. Like whether it's 3 or 6, you're kind of the same number. And
Oh,
then
okay.
it's just individual based on each one of them having also a deductible.
Right.
So now it's bigger than it ever was before. So I certainly understand where people are looking at. However, if they're both retired, then you really have something to be focused on and concerned about. If they're not both retired, if one of them's retired and one of them's not, well, then there you go. That's the ticket. But yeah, the exchanges, to Dion's point, if you actually don't make a whole lot of money per paper, and it's a lot of through real estate, an exchange certainly is an option. The biggest challenge is by far the biggest challenge is those are state lines.
Right.
And so for us, we're in New Hampshire, all of the healthcare was in Massachusetts because it was so specialized. So it wasn't an option. So it's just one thing to check though, when, the Dion's most important lesson, which is I need to make at least 3 or 4X what I need in order to make this work. That's something that's your first stop before insurance.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. Dion. So insurance is one. What else do you got? What's another thing that people handcuff?
How many hundreds of times have we heard people say, I can't quit my job. I can't retire early. It's not about the money. It's who I am. Their identity handcuffs them to their occupation. And it could be, I get it, if you're in law enforcement, if you're in the military, if you're a doctor, if you run a business and you have all those employees counting on you. So many people are trapped in that identity thinking, if I don't show up to work, the work won't get done. Not realizing how fast it is to replace somebody. And yeah, sometimes it takes 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
But you're replaceable. And there is so much more to life than the job you're doing.
I'd even go one level deeper on that. Again, for me, that was my big hang up was my ego was so wrapped up in being the man. One of very few people have taken 3 different software products from 0 to 100 million. You get an ego. You start feeling yourself, and to lose that suddenly, like I did, it's hard to replace. But it is doable, right? You can find something that fills that cup. But yeah, tying yourself, making your job or career who you are, absolutely handcuffs people. That's a great find. What do you think, Matt?
One of the cool things for us is just timing, right? So for you, it was immediate. It was that day. For me, it was 2 years of planning, probably 2.5 years, because it was probably a year or so before Eliana got sick. And then that changed things. And then it was after we knew she was good, then it was okay. Now it's a couple of years. So it was probably 2 or 3 years in the works, recognizing what I needed to do, built up the business large enough to get it to where it needed to get to. But yeah, I think that the consideration always has to be like, Dion's rule, making 4X. And when you walk away, if you had made it up in your mind, Mike, that you were walking away, it would have been an easier transition for you.
For sure.
But even though you were the one who took it away from yourself, it still felt like it was taken away from you because your hand was forced.
Yeah. It was a non-optional event. I could make it as good as I could, but it was always going to be not my choice. Right. So yeah, it was not a thing. So again, the other thing kind of just on that point, and Dion, you may be going to this, so sorry to steal your thunder. Matt, I learned this one from you. Right. One of the things that you stayed in your job longer was because you wanted to make sure that your people were taken care of at this new shop that bought them.
Sure.
And that was frankly a bad idea. They didn't give, in hindsight, they didn't give a rat's ass about you making that sacrifice.
No, couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Nope.
Dion?
Kept them all in
I had
job.
the same experience.
Go ahead.
Those 4 extra years I worked, that did a few things, right? I tested my portfolio. I built a life where work is in the way, all these things. I trained the people to replace me. And as soon as I left, they made the biggest, dumbest decisions that tanked the company millions of dollars. And they're finally recovering now. But I could have just left and they could have just tried something and it would have been better than I trained them for 4 years. And then they did the opposite of everything I wanted them to anyway. So it was like they were waiting for me to get out of the way to try stupid things.
Yes.
So on that almost same track, a lot of people handcuff themselves to their job with the impacts of 1 more year. So if you
lots of people go one more year,
you will have saved more to invest. It's another year where your investments didn't pay for your lifestyle. It's a form of timing the market with your life, basically.
Yeah.
And so that one more year doesn't have an end.
No, you're right. I've seen, so I know people that have been saying one more year for a decade, right? It's always one more year. Absolutely. Keep going, man. This is fun.
So on the line of identity where people think, okay, who I am is what I do at work. How many times have we heard, I can't walk away from my job. What would I do with my time? I'd be so bored. Literally, boredom is handcuffing them to their job.
Yeah, it is wild to think about how busy, when I look at my day and I'm like, oh, I got all kinds of stuff to do. I have no idea how I work 10 hours a day and still did all these other things. So yeah,
no kidding.
trust me, you won't be bored. Yeah, you got lots of stuff.
That's the challenge when we're working. We've got work, the commute, cleaning, working out, shopping, all of that stuff that takes your time. And if you're lucky, a person has 5 hours a day that's theirs. Most of us, it end up being 1 or 2 hours. But if you have 5 hours a day that's yours and you're wiped out, all you have is the energy to stare at a screen or click a remote, of course you don't want to retire. But if you can get your mind around what it's like to have 15 hours where you haven't been tired in years, you have all the energy to go do whatever you want. Sometimes we handcuff ourselves to our job with tangible handcuffs, and they call them golden handcuffs.
Oh, yes.
The company that I was at and the company Matt was at. So the company I was at, they said if there's ever a sale, you would get 10% of the profit, which would be about $2 million. So I had a $2 million golden handcuffs. And it's a real handcuff when you don't have enough money, because money is the only thing. So you're thinking, oh, it's $2 million. I'll do whatever it takes to stay here for that. But once you get to the point where money is just a thing, that $2 million doesn't compare to the time freedom. I'm coming up on July 5th will be 3 years retired.
Wow. 3 years already.
3 years.
Damn, that was fast.
How many people would say, I would trade 3 years for $2 million any day of the week? Like almost everyone working would think I would do a prison sentence for 3 years to get 2 million when I get out. I wouldn't go back to work. I mean, there's probably a time period of like 10 days, maybe 20 days. I would go work for $2 million, but I wouldn't go back to having a boss, an alarm clock, a schedule, employees, responsibilities for any significant amount of time to make $2 million, because money's just a thing.
Yeah, I love that. All right, this is fun. You got another one?
Matt, what kept you handcuffed to your job, you think? So Matt, Mike, you retired in 2018. I retired in 2022. It took a lot of peer pressure and Pink Panther memes.
Pink Panther, yeah, Pink Panther.
To get Matt to jump over to the dark side.
Oh,
he's
Matt,
muted.
I think we lost. Matt's muted.
So I think it was all three that we mentioned. I think one, it was healthcare, because I knew what that expense was going to be. I did the homework and I was like, yeah, it's $3,000 a month, which means I'm 36,000 a year. So I got to make 50 to spend 30. So I was like, we have to find something that makes $50,000 a year. Second thing was pay, the golden handcuffs, making sure that you maximize and that you're not penny wise and pound foolish. And you say, well, I'm just going to leave today because I just don't want to do this anymore. That was the hardest thing for me because I very easily can walk away. I'm a walk away kind of guy. I'm like, that's fine. I'll just whatever. We'll just walk away. No big deal. But I didn't walk away because I was like, this one is the one thing in life that I have to be really conservative and really focused on and make sure everything's in line. So it was the golden handcuff thing. And then the third thing was just doing the right thing, making sure that I believed everybody was set up for success like you did. Making sure everybody was set up for success. That way, walking out, it was like, hey, he at least took care and made sure that we were good. Now, I've never gotten that. I think I got that out of one person that actually thanked me. Everyone else was basically like, F off. Yeah. And so, or not just indifferent. And, I don't know how they're doing, but I would guess that it's not nearly as well as they were doing when I was there. Just based on how much I knew about the business, but so it was truly all three of those things. I think the thing that I recognized most about it was I had to be ready here and here and here. I'm pointing my wallet. It's all three places. It's your head, it's your heart, and it's your wallet. And I think for Mike, I think he wasn't ready in his heart. I think he was ready in his head and ready in his wallet. And for me, I was ready. I was finally ready in my heart, ready in my head, and ready in my wallet. We had done all of the work to get there. And so it was really, truly recognizing that I was closing the chapter of the book on my terms and that was good enough. So that's where it kind of took me.
Yeah. The one that I don't think we've hit on that I opened with, that I think a lot of people handcuff themselves to their job, is just their stupid spending and consumerism. I mean, that was my failure, until I was 30 and realized how stupid I was being. Is as I, went to school, got an education, climbed the corporate ladder, I made more money, but I also spent more money. That is not a recipe for any. I mean, like I had so much spending going on. I had to stay employed, and not only did I have to stay employed, but I had to exceed my number. Right, my spending assumed I made 125 or 130% of quota. That is some big ass handcuffs, because if you don't do that, then bankruptcy ensues. So again, I think there's a lot of people out there that fail to realize step one of getting wealthy is creating discretionary income. And there's too many people watching this that their discretionary income is either zero, and some of the people watching this, it's negative, right? You're living on credit cards. That is not good. That is handcuffed in a big way.
We've made the video a few times on discretionary income, and I don't think it's a concept that's going to ever spread like wildfire. I don't think, because it still comes down to people. I make $50 an hour, so if I buy $100 thing, it costs me 2 hours of my life. That's
not how it works.
To change how people view that. And so up to this point in the video, we've talked about the handcuffs. I think it's important to cover the keys to unlock them.
Let's do it.
And so when it comes to the healthcare, Matt, you had a solution, which was literally create an LLC, hire some employees, get premium insurance through your LLC. Mike, you understood it's the healthcare premium for the insurance that you needed covered, and then money for reserves and everything. So we have an asset for that. With the identity, you're still wrapped up in your work. Matt, when somebody asks you now or looks at you or talks to you, you're a father with 19 kids under 5, so you're very involved in their lives. Sure. You're running projects, turning a jail into multiple different aspects. You have so you're the investor in there. Zuber in 2018, you kind of had those 6 months of depression and thinking, I should go back to work, and what have I done? And you realized you could write a book, you can create a YouTube channel. You made over 1,000 videos before you realized you could actually make some money with YouTube just as a byproduct of doing this. And so you became the one rental at a time guy. I'm the lazy investor. It's fun to go to events and share how I got here and see how many other people we can drag kicking and screaming to where we're at. So for some people, it's what is your hobby that you could want to do more than you would want to go to work? Yeah. And so it's that build a life where work is in the way. So if there's more things you can do outside of work, work becomes less important. Too many people go to work and do nothing else. The 1 more year thing, it comes down to actually making a plan, not trying to time the market, but trying to time your situation, testing your portfolio, knowing your numbers. What is your financial independence number, your financial freedom number, knowing which asset you're going to invest in. The boredom thing goes right back to building a life where work is in the way. I'm trying to think if I've been bored, because I'll sit down and I'll say, okay, tomorrow's Thursday. I'm going to do nothing. I want a nothing day. And by noon, I could have checked off a whole honeydew list if there was one, because you just end up doing so much stuff. The golden handcuffs, that one keeps a lot of people in there until you make money just a thing and you start realizing the amount of money I have wouldn't change my life. Correct. What impacts my life is how much money comes in every month and how much do I spend. That discretionary income. So yeah, the bigger, more expensive life you build, the longer it might take to get to a point where you don't have to work. But all of these handcuffs, step one is realizing it's there.
Yeah. If you I agree. Yeah.
Healthcare stops me from quitting. I mean, there are people, I have to work for healthcare. I've heard it over and over. Other people, I don't know what I would do with my time. Every single one of these, I've heard them. And people don't realize that's what's trapping them in that job. Even if they hate their job, they're trapped there. Step 2 is, okay, how do I take these handcuffs off?
Folks, at the end of the day, your job could be seen as a jail or handcuffs, but it also could be a key to so many other wonderful and great things. The three of us used it as a key, and we are living proof, and we talk weekly. Guys, where can they find you? Dion?
Right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom. And this year, in 2025, you can find me at BP Con at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas on October 5th, 6th, and 7th. If you use the code Dion50, it gets you $50 off your ticket. I hope to see you there. There's going to be some really cool presenters that I'm presenting with. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody that comes there. And if you're in Vegas but not going to the event, there will be a lobby con at Caesar's Palace on the same days.
I will be there. Matt, you have an exciting event coming up early June. Talk about that and then where they can find you.
Yeah, June 5th, Raging Tomato. If you want to see what modern day Colosseum looks like, with talking about housing and programs and things like that, by all means stop by. It's not for the faint of heart. There will be cursing, there will be threatening, there will be all of those things. It is Sarah does an amazing job of being the queen by the side of the Colosseum. So it's quite an event. But again, it's on the Raging Tomato on YouTube. Sarah is the host, and she invites a bunch of people with diversifying ideas, but I certainly won't say thought. So
and if I remember right, it comes out at the same time on Thursday that day that your live stream usually is. Yep. So everybody that would be going to your live stream can go there.
9 p.m. Eastern time. People should be there, but we might even, I don't know, try and get it on my channel too. I don't know how that works. We'll figure it out, but it's going to be an awesome time. It's a nice opportunity to vent and just get it out, because a lot of these people have no clue. They don't understand. And just be emotionally and mentally prepared for language. It's a lot of language.
Yeah, not for me, brother. Not for
you at all. Not for you at all. I told Mike, I was like, dude, you can't watch this. You'll get stressed out. It'll ruin your night.
It'll ruin my day. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's not. So if you're one of those people, definitely stay away. But if you want to just see what the arena looks like, feel free to stop by, hang out.
Awesome, guys. Take care of yourself. Have a wonderful week.
Thanks, Mike.
Ciao.
You too.